and the facts of your case can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney today. All participants, this proceeding is being broadcast over the internet. It is also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch this particular proceeding. If you are driving, please pull over. You're required to be in a safe location, just as if we were in court here today. Please change your name to your actual name on the Zoom screen. That may require you to actually log off and change your name and log back in. It will go faster if we are able to quickly identify you. All right, I'm going to call the entire calendar. All right, I'm going to actually start with the final plea calendar because we've had some concerns about receiving paperwork. Defense counsel, for those who are going to take pleas today, I'm going to ask that you start getting that paperwork over to us so that we can make sure that the pleas will be processed fully. So I'm going to call the final plea calendar first. I think I'm missing a page of it, right? Page 2, 3, 4. I'm missing a page. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, I got it. So, Carlton Cuthbert. Mr. Cuthbert, I see you on the line, but you're muted. Mr. Cuthbert, do you have an attorney?
Your Honor, he does. Mr. Thomas Stewart. In the last time this case was in court, Mr. Stewart asked for a plea in absentia, being that Mr. Cuthbert is a truck driver, which I sent to Mr. Stewart on October the 6th.
All right. Is his attorney here? Mr. Cuthbert, you're muted, so we couldn't hear anything you were saying. I know you were saying something. You have to press the button so we can hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Cuthbert, do you have that plea paperwork? Did your attorney give it to you and explain it to you?
I have my court date paper.
Okay. Mr. Cuthbert, what I'm going to ask you to do is please give your attorney a call. Is your attorney on this Zoom conference? I don't see him. Please drop off. Please give him a call and ask him to join the Zoom conference for us, okay? And we'll come back to you, all right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Miyasha Dowdle.
Javier Trejo for Ms. Dowdell, Your Honor. This one, I would like the opportunity to pre-try with the state. I have been in touch with my client as recently as yesterday. And I'd like the court to hold for my announcement.
All right, that's your case, Ms. Riley?
No, it's mine. It's mine, Your Honor.
All right, so when we get to a point where we can do that, I'll ask you to go into a breakout with Ms. Marshall's story. Thank you so much. All right, Naquan Fadrell.
Your Honor, this one's mine as well. I don't see my client on at the moment, but same thing. I spoke to him as recently as yesterday. This one, I would like the opportunity to speak with my client briefly before entering the plea. I think we should be able to work this one out. Thank you.
All right, Antavius Hill.
Mr. Hill does not have an attorney, Your Honor. This was on for an update for him to complete anger management classes. So I hope that in contemplation of a dismissal. So I hope that he will show up.
I hope so as well. All right. Thank you, Ms. Marshall Story. Marquavius Jones.
Your Honor, I represent Mr. Jones as well. The last time we spoke yesterday afternoon, he indicated that he is not currently interested in taking the state's plea offer. And that he would wish to enter a not guilty plea and set it for a trial.
Okay. Is your client here?
Yes, good morning.
There he is.
All right. We'll come back to that case. Has that case been arraigned?
I'm not sure, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, no rush. We'll come back to that.
Thank you.
All right. Xavier Marion.
Good morning, Your Honor. Craig Murphy for Mr. Marion, and he's present on the Zoom as well.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Murphy. What's your announcement?
Your Honor, we're not interested in the offer made by the state. I believe we've already waived arraignment, so we just asked to be returned to our courtroom for trial.
All right, you're asking for a jury trial in this case?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. All right, so this case will be reset for the notice. We do not have a jury trial date at this point, but it will stay within Orca more than likely, and trial will be conducted practically in the next few months. Mr. Marion and Mr. Murphy, you're both free to go. Please make, oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Bolton, they need it. Oh, we don't have a good address for your client, Mr. Murphy. Do you have
Okay, Your Honor, I'll get one
updates
filed
for
and
us?
updated today.
Okay, that's gonna be important to make sure he gets all notices. Ms. Bolton, is there anything else that we need before we release these two?
Yes, and counsel, I will be emailing you some information regarding the jury trial plan, so I just need you to check your email and respond back and just email me those copies. Please.
Okay, I can do that.
All right, you're free to go. Mr. Murphy, please update that information. Mr. Marion, you're free to go as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Trejo, we'll go back to your case, Mr. Jones's case. Has that case been arraigned? I know you were checking. I'm gonna let Mr. Jones go if it has, and then we'll do the same.
I'm not sure if it has, Your Honor. I know it's been on a couple of different calendars.
Okay, Mr. Trejo, do you intend to waive arraignment? If not, I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask your client to wait, and then I'll do it at the end.
We can go ahead and waive arraignment, Your Honor, and just be placed on the jury calendar. That's fine.
All right, so please enter that waiver, Mr. Trejo, by tomorrow. Mr. Jones, you are free to go. Do you have a good address for him?
We do.
Yes. I'm gonna make sure the court has a good one, and then he'll be free to go.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. Jones, you need to turn your camera on, Mr. Jones, so that we can see that you were here.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, you are free to go at this time. Make sure you stay in contact with your attorney. Keep your address current with the court. And Mr. Trejo, you're gonna receive some information regarding jury trial, all right?
Great. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Thank you.
All right, have a good day.
All right, you as well.
Luke, Mark,
Good morning, Your Honor. Wanda again on behalf of Catrice Helen. Our office has been in contact with Mr. Marks. I do not see him on the Zoom call. I will continue efforts to reach him. Regarding this case, Your Honor, I'm not quite sure why it's on the final plea calendar. We have been awaiting a BHET that is now complete, and we do not have any issues. So if I would ask for a reset for the next final plea calendar and at least have the offer placed on the record.
all right, let's see if your client appears in the scan. We'll come back to that case. Alan
Yeah.
Pittman. Alan Pittman.
Hey, how are you?
All right, good morning, Mr. Pittman. You need to turn on your camera so we can identify you. Mr.
Good morning.
Pittman, do you have an attorney?
I don't.
Do you wish to seek the services of the public defender's office today?
No, I couldn't. I didn't qualify for it.
You don't qualify. You were here previously and told you didn't qualify.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
if I may, Mr. Pittman has submitted plea paperwork. I believe we had an issue with it being able to be opened. So if that issue has been resolved, there should be plea paperwork in front of the court.
There is not.
I have, I'm sorry, Your Honor, I have paperwork. I emailed Mr. Pittman yesterday indicating that he didn't do paperwork or not,
Oh, it wasn't complete. Mr. Pittman, your paperwork in order for us to take your plea today is incomplete. We need you to read, what page would it be, Ms. Bolton?
So on the plea statement, he's not indicating this part right here on the top. So he has these.
Oh, you need to circle, what page is that? The first page?
So it's a plea statement.
On your plea and verdict sheet, I'm not sure that you understand or know what that is because you're not looking at it with me. You have to circle whether you're entering a guilty or a no-low plea. So we need you to do that now and resend to me. And I think you might also, what else is wrong with the paperwork? Okay. So you need to resend that page and we'll come back and try to take your plea, okay?
Okay.
All right?
All right. Thank you.
We'll come back. It's good that we're taking the pleas first, that way we can work out the paperwork issues. Jamarcus Remo, here for a final plea as well.
Good morning, Your Honor. Again, Wanda again on behalf of Mr. Ramo. He is on the
I
Zoom
see.
call. And I would request, I have been in discussions with ASG Githia, but I would appreciate a breakout with her prior to making our announcement.
Okay. Will do, Ms. Gant. Thank you. Please hold. Takasha Rucker.
Javier Trejo for Ms. Rucker, Your Honor. This one should be a plea. We have an offer in place from Ms. Marshall Story.
All right, thank you. Can we start working on the paperwork to make sure that it's before the court in time for that plea? Thank
Yes,
you.
Your Honor.
Richard Snyder. I see Mr. Snyder on the call, and I see you're represented by a Stephen Weiner or Weiner, perhaps.
That's correct, Your
Is
Honor.
your attorney on the line?
I do not know. I haven't spoken to him. I had received an email from him yesterday, but that's it.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Ms. Githia.
How are you?
I'm well.
Good. I have spoken with Attorney Weiner, and he did indicate that he did not want to accept the offer and wanted a jury trial.
Oh, he wants a jury trial.
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to arraign your case, Mrs. Snyder. Has this case been previously arraigned? Is anyone able to see? It has not. Mrs. Snyder,
Your Honor,
please do me a favor.
I don't think I've discussed that with my attorney. Like I said, the only thing I heard was about the offer.
Okay, Mr. Snyder, what I'm gonna ask you to, I don't want you to tell me too much about what you're talking to. I'm sorry, go ahead. Ms.
Okay.
Okay, so it's been arraigned. Mrs. Snyder, why don't you drop off really quickly and give your attorney a call? And if you don't want to take that plea offer, we won't, but if you do, we're happy to take your plea today. All right?
I'm sorry. I thought she said it was indicated for trial.
What I'm saying is, you said that you didn't have any knowledge of that discussion, right? Or you
Yeah.
wanted to take the plea?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk to my attorney first about it.
That's what I'm asking you to do. Please drop
Okay.
off, give your attorney a call and come back, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Raven Shockley.
Good morning, Your Honor. Wanda again on behalf of Raven Shockley. I do not see her on the Zoom call.
That case has been null processed. That will be
Yes.
null processed. Thank you. All right, so if Miss Shockley is on here, she's free to go. Theodore Stark.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Stark, is that if you're here, you need to turn on your camera. You're represented by a Shane McKean.
Yes, Your Honor. I gave my attorney a call. He said he was going to hop on. I'm not sure where he is.
Okay. We'll hold for your attorney.
I'm sorry.
You'll hold for your attorney, but in the meantime, you need to turn on your camera, all right?
I apologize, but my camera's actually broken.
All right, you'll need to try to work that out before we take your plea. We need to see you, all right?
Okay.
Sarah Thomas? Oh, you're here in court with us here today. You're represented by a Monique Jones, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, have you spoken with Ms. Jones, Ms. Thomas? I'm sorry?
No, I haven't spoken with her. She was to be here now.
Right, why don't you give her a call? I don't, the announcement from the state, she was supposed to take a plea as well? Whose case is it?
Your Honor, I have been in negotiations with the defendant's attorney. I have not spoken with her this week, so I'm really not sure exactly what the status is. There was some information that she was seeking regarding counseling, and I don't know if that came into fruition or not. Otherwise, the state's position will be the plea offer from the very beginning. We've diligently tried to work this case out.
All right, Ms. Thomas, will you please step outside and just see if you can reach your attorney by phone? Thank you. All right, Joshua Warner.
Judge, is this my case?
Oh, good morning. Is your client on Zoom?
No.
Oh, he's here in the courtroom. Good
Told us we
morning.
need to come down here in person, but you should have that paperwork.
All right. Do we have plea paperwork for that position?
Yeah.
All right, we'll take that plea shortly.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Good morning. All right, I call the entire final plea calendar. Those who are working on paperwork, are waiting to speak or get their attorneys on the line, please do so. I'm gonna very quickly call the other calendars. Douglas Fortson.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Yes.
Chris Burley. On behalf of Mr. Fortin, he's present on the Zoom call. He has rejected the state's offer and would like to proceed to a jury trial.
All right. Has this case been previously arraigned?
I believe so, Your Honor.
All right,
Good. How about you?
all right.
Your Honor, if I could have a moment to speak with Mr. Gilbert. I have not spoken with him since I gave the offer. So if we could have a moment to speak in a breakout room.
All right, give me one moment, Ms. Rollins. If
Thank you.
Mrs. Sperling, I'm gonna ask that you pre-try this case as requested by the state to see if we can resolve it today. All right? So
Okay,
please
Your Honor.
hold. All right, Michael Harper.
This one's mine, Your Honor. I did see Mr. Harper on the Zoom call, I believe, and I did speak to him yesterday afternoon. I've been in touch with the state on this one. We have a couple pieces to confirm, but I think this is one that should be worked out if we could discuss in the
Retry.
breakout room today.
All right. Richard Matthews.
I'm here, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Gant, you represent Mr. Matthews?
Yes, Your Honor. And again, I have been in discussions with ASG Get the A. I would appreciate a moment with her prior to making our announcement.
Okay, thank you. Tiffany or Tiffany Smith, perhaps?
I'm here.
All right, Ms. Smith, you're represented by Ms. Watson Cafe, who I see. Ms. Watson Cafe, your announcement?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
We would ask to be placed on a jury trial calendar and be sent back to the trial judge. We have discussed the offer and Ms. Smith is not interested in it.
All right, do you think we could discuss it further today with the state and the hope that we might be able to resolve this, Ms. Watson Cafe?
Possibly, but I have like 2 other matters. So I don't want to hold up the calendar because I still have to, I'm outside Judge Porter's courtroom, and I also have Judge Roth this morning.
All right, you do realize I have no problem with us resetting it further notice for jury trial, but it will stay within Orca. It will not go back to a division judge and will likely be scheduled sooner than it would have been in the past. That's the only reason I said you might want to listen to the offer at this time, but I'm happy to reset it. What about resetting it to another Orca?
We could do that, Your Honor.
Another Orca status calendar.
Okay.
Whose case is this for the state?
This is my case, Sarita Githiel.
Okay, Ms. Githiel, we're gonna reset Ms. Smith to the December 7th Orca status. And it's our hope that we'll be able to reach a resolution of this case at that time.
Yes, Your Honor.
All
Thank
right.
you, Your Honor.
You can be excused.
Ma'am.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Your Honor. You too.
All right.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I believe there are a few more positions on the Orca C status calendar. I heard you.
I'm not finished. I wasn't finished.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, thank you. All right, Kevin Morrell.
Here, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Morrell, do you have an attorney?
No, I do not.
Do you wish to seek the services of the public defender's office today?
I tried and I didn't qualify, Your
And
Honor.
you don't qualify. All right. We will come back to your case. Who's assigned to this position?
That is mine, Sarita Githiel. Mr. Morrell was to complete some courses. And then the case would be resolved. Have you completed?
No, Miss, I'm sorry, what's how do I say that?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I had your information. I'm sorry, I didn't know how to say your name. I didn't want to say it wrong. I had the information on the phone last court date that I had, and I have a totally new phone which did not carry over. I just recently asked somebody who has been through the same case
Okay,
and the same
before we do,
process.
I don't want him to say too much. Before we finish, he's not completed the courses. So we'll come back to this position and we'll discuss how to resolve that, all right?
Okay.
One
All right.
moment, please hold, Mr. Morrell. Eric Nobles?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good
Good morning, Your
I'm
Honor.
here, Your Honor.
Yes, Alexander Lewis here for Mr. Nobles. Judge, we provided some information to the state just yesterday in consideration of a null pros. I believe that they still have to follow up with some things on their end. I believe if we had one more reset to another Orca calendar, we could probably resolve it short of putting it back on a trial calendar.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, so we will reset Mr. Noble's case to the December 7th status. It's our hope that the case will be resolved by then. Ms. Lewis, you and Mr. Nobles are both free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, take care. Danny Ray Robertson.
Good morning, Your Honor. Byron on behalf of Mr. Robinson. He's on the line as well.
I see it. Good morning. Your announcement, Mr. Owens.
Your Honor, at this point, we request a reset. We're still in need of the discovery materials to be provided. At the last setting, I did inform the court that we had not received the discovery materials. I did also provide some information to, I believe it was ASG Marshall Story in regards to consideration of a null process. I'm not certain if that information has been
All right.
investigated.
We're at the balance of the calendar. I don't believe there are other positions yet. I am going to ask that you pre-try this case with Ms. Marshall Story at this time. If either party has no objection. So let's begin. I believe Ms. Riley was supposed to go into a breakout with Mr. Sperling. If that could take place, if Ms. Gant could be placed in a breakout with Ms. Githia, and if Mr. Owens could go into a breakout with Ms. Marshall Story, we could begin that process. I see now that Ms. Jones is on the line for Ms. Thomas. Ms. Jones, what is your announcement for Ms. Thomas's case? Ms. Thomas is going to take a plea today.
No, Your Honor, before we had pre-tried with Miss Marshall Story, if I can just speak back with her, we have been resolving this case.
All right, so I'm going to ask Mr. Owens to go on with Ms. Marshall Story first, and then shortly thereafter, Ms. Thomas. All right. And
Okay,
then
thank you.
We'll start taking pleas from there.
Please repeat who was going in the breakout room with Ms. Denise Riley. Who was going in the breakout room with Ms. Denise Riley? Which attorney?
I'm sorry, I believe that was me, Gilbert Sperling.
I'm sorry, it was Mr. Sperling is going in with Ms. Riley.
Thank you.
Oh, shut up.
Please keep your phones on mute. Thank you. Ms. Marshall Story, are you on the line? Attorney Owens, you should see a prompt that will send you in the breakout room. Ms. Marshall Story is waiting for you. Mr. Cuthbert, I'm gonna have to turn your camera off if you're not seated. You need to be seated, sir. Thank you.
If I could be placed in a breakout with Ms. Rucker, that's position 10 on the final plea calendar. Once we receive the plea paperwork, just so we can run through it together, I'd greatly appreciate that.
You want that now, or you said like when they do the paperwork?
Once we get the paperwork would be fine. Your Honor.
What is her first name, please?
Her first name is Tashaka.
Thank you.
Tashaka Rucker, position 10. Thank you.
Good morning, Judge Williams. Me and Mr. Sperling have an announcement when the court is ready.
All right, please proceed, Ms. Riley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Sperling. He just needs a little time to speak with his client. I believe that we have worked out a different resolution. If we could just have until December 7th so that I can send the amended paperwork to Mr. Sperling for him and his client to review and sign.
All right, so can we put it on the final plea calendar?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that case will be so reset. Mrs. Sperling, you and your client are free to go at this time.
And
All right,
I'm
thank
sorry,
you.
Judge Williams, is that still December 7th final
Yes,
plea?
December 7th, final plea.
Thank
Is
you.
that at 9 a.m.?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, have a good afternoon. All right, I see that Mr. McKean is now on the line for Mr. Start. Mr. McKean, do you have an announcement regarding this case? I believe your client was, let's see. Your client, let's see, what was the announcement? What is your announcement? He's on the plea calendar. Is he scheduled to take a plea today?
Good morning, Judge. I actually am fairly new to the case. I took over the case for Ms. Palmer. We're not ready to take a plea. I would ask that the case be placed on a motions calendar. I think it'll be dispositive.
Okay, whose case is this for the state? I'm hoping it's Ms. Riley by some stroke of luck, probably not.
No, Your
Okay.
Honor, it is Ms. Gizia.
All right, Mr. McKean, I'm gonna ask you to hold one more moment. I'm gonna ask for the assigned ASG to at least pre-try this with you. So we might get a better idea of where it might fully be in December, all right?
Okay, and it is, I believe it's Sarita is the.
Yes, she'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, who is it? Ms. Riley, by any chance, are you assigned to the plea that's in the courtroom today?
November 20th.
I am not. I believe that is also Ms. Gizia.
I think
But
so.
I am waiting to speak with Attorney Trejo
Okay.
regarding Mr. Harper.
If Ms. Riley and Mr. Trejo could be placed in a breakout, please, I would appreciate that. And I know Ms. Jones is waiting to go into a breakout as well with Ms. Marshall Story upon her return. All right. Mr. Cuthbert, has your attorney have you made contact with your attorney? You are muted, so everything you're saying, I'm unable to hear.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I called him as soon as you told me to get in touch with him. I called him and I also left him a text message.
And he hasn't responded to you, Mr. Cuthbert?
No, ma'am. I can.
Okay, well, we can't take your plea without him. Try him one more time, and then I'll
Yes.
check back in with you, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
All right, upon Ms. Givia's return, we'll take that plea. Ms. Githia, you're back. Do you have any announcements? Or Mr. Owens, perhaps? Everyone is back.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Owens, your announcement?
Yes, Your Honor. This case will need to be reset, Your Honor. At this time, we still have not received the discovery materials. There's some additional investigation that needs to be completed by the state.
All right, so you pre-trial with Ms. Marshall's story and Mr. Robertson's case now needs a one-time reset. Do we believe we can resolve it at a final plea at that?
I'm not certain at this time. Ms. Marshall's story indicated she would need to talk to Mr. Gamage because this case involves allegation of use of a firearm. At this time, the offer is 1 year to serve, and we're definitely not in agreement with that offer, and we will not be in agreement with that offer at any time in the future.
All right, so it sounds like the parties are further apart. Are you requesting that we reset this case, Ms. Owen? Are you requesting a jury trial at this time?
Your Honor, I'm requesting a reset so that we can at least receive the discovery such that Ms. Marshall's story can present the full fact pattern to Keith Gamage in regards to a null process. Which would be appropriate.
Okay,
for
so
this case.
we're gonna reset it to the status calendar. That was my question. If you thought we could take a plea, it didn't sound like it. So we will reset Mr. Robertson's case to the December 7th at 9 a.m. Status calendar to see if we're any closer to resolving this as part of the Orca. All right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Owens, you and your client are both free to go. Ms. Marshall Stewart, I believe that Ms. Thomas was waiting to speak to you. I'm sorry, Ms. Jones for Ms. Thomas. So if we could put them both into a breakout. Ms. Githia, before we take the plea that you're assigned to that's here in the courtroom, there is one attorney that I'm asking to pre-try a case with you. That's Mr. Shane McKean. And I believe he represents Mr. Stark. So I'm gonna ask that Ms. Githia very quickly go into a breakout with Mr. McKean to see if we can resolve that particular case today. And then after that, we'll take the plea. All
Yes,
right.
Your Honor,
Yes.
the two individuals that you said before, Miss Sarita and that individual, I need their first names.
Okay, I'm sorry. Ms. Marshall's story is gonna go in with Monique Jones.
Thank you.
And Mr. Shane McKean is gonna go on with Ms. Githia.
Ms. Githia and Mr. McKean are already in. I just needed Miss Monique Jones and Erica Marshall
All
Story.
right.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Ms. Riley, or Mr. Trejo, if you return, do you have announcements?
Mr. Trejo is filling out paperwork, Your Honor, but that will be a plea. Yes.
All right, I'm sorry, what position was that?
That was position 2 on the Orca C status conference calendar.
All right. Ms. Gant, do you have announcements?
Yes, Sean, I was about to type in the chat. Regarding position 1 on Orca A status, Mr. Richard Matthews,
All right.
I have been in discussions again with Ms. Githea about this case, and we would ask that Mr. Matthews' case be placed on the next motions calendar.
Okay. Is there an Orca motions calendar? Is that gonna be the 7th as well? All right. The case will be placed in the Orca, December 16th motion calendar at this time. If Mr. Matthews is present on the line, he is now free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good one.
All right, take care. Have a good day.
And Your Honor, regarding Mr. Remo, he is on Orca C final plea, position 9.
All right.
Attorney Githea and I are in talks to perhaps improve his offer. Nothing has been finalized, and we would ask that he be reset to the next final plea calendar.
All right. We can reset him to December 7th final plea, but the idea is a final plea is to actually take the plea. So I don't want to continue to reset him there. We don't believe we'll be able to actually take the plea at that time. Do you believe that he'll be able to take it then, Ms. Gant?
Yes, Your Honor, there were some evidentiary issues that we discovered rather late in the process, Your Honor.
All right, so that case will be reset to December 7th final plea. And Mr. Remo, you're now free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I am, Your Honor, continuing efforts to reach Mr. Marks.
Thank you.
Final plea.
I appreciate that. Mr. McKean and Ms. Githea, do you have an announcement regarding Mr. Stark's position?
Judge, we were not able to come to terms, so we are requesting this go onto a motions calendar.
All right, so the case will be reset for a motion on December the 16th. What time is that one, Ms. Bolton? 11:30. And that calendar is at 11:30.
Could I look at my calendar just for 1 second? December the 16th.
Yes.
11. Did you say 11:30?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, is that a live calendar or is that also going to be virtual?
It will be virtual.
Okay.
All right, if that concludes your business, Mr. McKean, you and your client are both free to go at this time.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, did you say virtual for the motion?
No. Motions are virtual, aren't they? Yeah, in person. Oh, I apologize, Mr. McKean, they are in person.
Okay, I'm fine either way. I'm not requesting that. If that works better for everybody, I'm happy to do a virtual motion. Mr. Stark is in Missouri, so if it works for everyone, I'm fine with that.
Do you believe that a motion is necessary, Mr. McKean, or is it just a status? Are you close to reaching a resolution with a plea, do you think? So that we can set him on a plea calendar, or there's a dispositive motion issue that needs to be addressed?
I think it's a dispositive motion issue.
Okay, so we'll leave it on the December 16th motions calendar.
Okay.
All right, let's take the plea that's here in the court, the case of Mr. Warner. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Githea, are you ready for that plea?
Yes, Your Honor, one moment.
All right, Ms. Marshall Story and Ms. Jones, do you have an announcement regarding Ms. Thomas?
We were able to speak. I think Ms. Marshall may be on mute.
Yes, she's muted. Ms. Marshall Story, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Okay, it puts you, I see when you toggle back and forth, it automatically puts you on mute. Okay, Ms. Jones, did you want to speak or you want me to lay out what we have discussed?
You're more than capable, Ms. Marshall Story.
Judge, we have been trying diligently to, now I can't see the judge anymore. Judge,
I'm
can
here.
you can
I'm
hear
here.
me? Okay. We have
I'm
been
here.
trying diligently to try and work out a resolution in this case. Miss Thomas is going to send me a letter that was written by the victim. I'm going to continue to have conversation with my deputy. I have told her that I doubt very seriously this will result in a null process based on the injuries that were sustained, but I am trying to come up with an offer that would reflect their 10 years of marriage while still balancing the fact that they had this incident and that hopefully things are starting to return to a more place of normalcy between this couple, again, who's been married for a decade. So with all of that said, Your Honor, would you please place this case on another plea calendar, preferably in December or January, so that I have the time to try and talk with my supervisor in detail about this matter.
All right, we'll reset, Miss. Are you requesting December or January, Miss Marshall Story?
I would
No
prefer
objection to either.
I would prefer January if that is okay with council. And council, that would also give you some additional time in order to try to effectuate the counseling that we've been talking about.
Miss Bolton, is there a January date already?
No, Your Honor.
Oh, I was just told there are no January dates, so it'll have to be a December date.
Okay.
So we'll put this calendar on December 7th, final plea. In the hopes we can resolve it by then. Ms. Thomas, please give your attorney a call when you leave here today.
Oh, did we lose her attorney? Is that why I don't see her?
No, she's here.
Oh,
She's right
okay.
next to you. Ms. Thomas is in the courtroom with me. Your case is gonna be reset for your attorney in the state to do some work. And you don't have to necessarily come back. You can log on to Zoom if you want on December the 7th. Okay, you just need to speak with your attorney before then. All right? All right, Ms. Thomas, you're free to go. Ms. Bolton, did you need something from her before she left? No. I hope you too. Calling me. Yes. I can mute. Hold on. All right. We are now going to take the plea of the case of Joshua Warner. Mr. Warner, will please come over to the podium so we can begin the plea. All right, Mr. Joshua Warner, your case is 20 CR 005719F. In that case, you're charged with driving under the influence of alcohol as safe and driving improper erratic lane change with the offense date of November the 20th of 2020. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna place you under oath for the very limited purpose of taking the plea. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can put your hand down. Ms. Githia, will you please give me the factual basis as well as the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor. The state expects the evidence to show that on November 20th, 2020, Mr. Warner was observed failing to maintain his lane multiple times while driving southbound on Medlock Bridge Road from the area of Finley Road, which is located in Fulton County. The officer, as a result, initiated a traffic stop, and he smelled the odor of alcoholic beverage coming from Mr. Warner's person. He also observed that the eyes were droopy, bloodshot, and glassy. Mr. Warner stated that he had a few beers, and the officer also noticed a thick and slurred speech. The officer initiated the field sobriety evaluation. The HGN was 6 out of 6 clues. The walk and turn, 5 out of 8 clues. One leg stand was 3 out of 4 clues. Based on all these factors, the officer believed that he was under the influence of alcohol, less safe. The offer is 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served 1 day. balance probated, a $400 fine, 40 hours of community service, alcohol drug evaluation and required treatment, any required treatment, and a risk reduction program.
All right, counsel, was that your understanding of the offer? And do you stipulate to the factual basis, identity and venue in this case?
Yes, Judge, I stipulate to all that. And, it's actually a little better than I was expecting. Thank you, State.
All right. Mr. Warner, are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with your attorney's representation?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you understand that by pleading guilty today, you're giving up your right to go to trial regarding this and have the state prove these charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand you'll have no further opportunity to present any evidence in your favor or to confront your accusers?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything in exchange for taking the plea today?
No.
And has anyone told you you will receive a lesser sentence if you took a plea today?
No, Your Honor.
And you understand the requirements of the sentence?
Yes.
All the things that just listed by the state? You understand the requirements?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. As to the charges I previously listed, Mr. Warner, how do you plead?
Guilty.
I accept your guilty plea. If there's nothing further from either the state or the defense, that will conclude your case. Is there anything further? All right, best of luck to you, sir. We don't want to see you back here anymore, all right?
Thank you.
Take care. All right. All right, other announcements before we move into the other, please? Mr. Cuthbert, I don't see that you got your attorney on the line. We do have your paperwork here. Without your attorney being here today, I'm not gonna take your plea, Ms. Cuthbert. So I am gonna reset your case, the December 7th final plea calendar at 9 a.m. Please tell your attorney that he needs to be here at that time, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I just talked, he said he was in court in Stockbridge. I had a 9 a.m. court in Stockbridge. And when I talked to him after we talked the second time, he said give him he told me 45 minutes. So it's been 20 minutes, maybe 20 minutes now.
Okay, well, let's hold. Let's see if he, we'll hold, all right? We'll see if he comes on the line. All
Yes.
right, are we now ready for the, what was the next plea that we were able to take? Was it position 2 on the final plea, Mr. Trejo? Who was your client? Was it, Ms. Dowdle?
Ms. Dowdell, we're still waiting to pre-trial with Ms. Marshall Story.
Okay.
The client that I just wrapped up plea paperwork for is Michael Harper. That's position 2. I believe it's 2. Give me one moment, Your Honor. Position 2 on the Orca C status conference calendar.
All right, are we able to take that plea now?
Yes, Your Honor. I've just sent the paperwork to the court and to Ms. Riley.
All right. And Mr. Harper is on the line?
He was a moment ago, Your Honor. Let me make sure that
See him.
let me send him a quick message, make sure he's online.
All right.
Your Honor, Ms. Dowdle is no longer online as well, Mr. Javier Trejo.
All right.
Ms. Dowdell just called me. I will get in touch with her and make sure she's present as well. One moment.
Yes.
Would you please make an announcement to council that we receive the verdict?
Say it again.
Just to make sure they double check the verdict, that the guilty or no.
Okay, on our plea and verdict sheets that we're receiving, the guilty or no law plea statement at the top is not being circled. If council could make sure that that's circled so that we don't have to send the documents back. Mr. Remo, I believe your case was reset, so you're free to go at this time. Is that correct, Ms. Gant? Is Ms. Gant still here?
Gotcha. I'm sorry, camera was messing up.
All right, so you can, you'll return on December the 7th, all right? Your case was reset.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, take care. Okay.
And I just spoke with Mr. Harper. He'll be logging back in shortly.
And Mr. Trejo, we do not yet have your paperwork here at the court. So if you could resend to Ms. Bolton. Oh, you have it? Oh, we have it. I apologize.
Thank you.
My apologies. In the meantime, was it, this is Ms. Riley's position, correct, Ms. Riley? You're, doing the plea for Mr. Harper?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, is there anyone else that needed to pre-trial with Ms. Marshall's story or Ms. Githia while we work on that plea? I don't believe so. I think Mr. Trejo needed to take an opportunity to speak with Ms. Marshall's story, but he needs to do this plea, so.
That's right.
Let's do the plea first, and then we'll do the pre-trial. And then unfortunately, that might be the end of the calendar. I see one other position. Oh, Mr. Where's the gentleman that had not completed the requirements? Was that Mr., let's see.
He was.
That's Mr. Morel.
Morel. Mr. Morel had not completed the requirements. Ms. Morel, are you still here? Mr. Morel? I see him on the line.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm here.
Please turn on your camera. All right, Mr. Morel I don't want him to say too much, Ms. Githia. This is your case, correct?
Yes, correct.
All right, he has not yet completed the requirements. I'd like to hear the state's position regarding a one-time reset of this case.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Morel, we're gonna reset you one time to December the 7th in order for you to complete those requirements. If you haven't done it by then, I'm not sure that the state will stand ready to make you that same offer. All right, we need to see you, Mr. Morel. I see your ceiling. Please just turn. All right, so we're gonna, you know what, Mr. Morel, I lost you again. Please, okay, thank you. You know what, are you driving?
Let me just.
Yes, please pull over. You cannot be in court and driving. All right.
Sorry about that.
All right, Mr. Morel, your case is going to be reset to the December the 7th calendar. And
Okay.
that gives you some additional time to do those things that the state has asked you to do. If you come back on the 7th and you still haven't done them, I do not believe that offer will still be available to you, all right? So please,
Yes, Your Honor.
this is a one-time opportunity to get it together, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we will see you on December 7th at 9 a.m. and you will have those requirements completed by then, all right?
Yes, Your Honor. If I could just get the prosecutor's information or email anything so I can write it down in pen and paper this time.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Ms. Githia.
I was is your email Kevin Morel 92 at Gmail? Because that's what I had. Is that correct?
Is it at Gmail or at email?
At Gmail.
Yes, it is at Gmail.
Okay, can you also put in the chat your phone number?
Okay, in the chat, right?
Yes, and I will email you my information again.
Once you put that information in the chat, Mr. Morel, you're free to go, all right?
Thank you.
All right, let's take the case of Michael Harper, 20 CR 005617F. Is Mr. Harper here?
Your Honor, I just spoke to him on the phone and told him to rejoin. I don't see his name in the meeting at this time.
I don't either.
He's not in the waiting list, Your Honor.
That's extremely.
I mean, in the waiting room, excuse.
That's extremely unfortunate for all of us. All right, what we're gonna do is, I'm sure he'll be back in a moment, let's hope, but in the meantime, the only other business we can do.
I can go into a breakout room with Mr. Trejo, and any update on position number 8, Mr. Pittman, has he returned his paperwork? And also position number 4, did Mr. Hill make it onto the Zoom?
I don't see Mr. Hill. I was trying to hold Mr. Trejo here with us one moment.
Oh, okay.
Longer before I send him in with you. but it does not look like he's going to join us, so we'll take that sage advice, Ms. Marshall Story. And Mr. Trejo and Ms. Marshall Story, Mr. Trejo and Ms. Marshall Story will go into a breakout at this time.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, and if your client calls you, Mr. Trejo, please tell him log in.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and let's see. We're also going to take a plea in the case of Ms. Rucker. Is that correct?
That is also Mr. Trejo's case. Would you
It
like?
is. It is. I see that note. There's nothing we can do. All right. We could take that plea, I guess. I see Ms. Rucker is on the line. Oh, Mr. Trejo already went into the breakout, didn't he?
Oh, did he? Okay.
Ms. Marshall, sir, will you
Want me to tell him to come back
Yeah,
out?
tell him to come back out. Let's
Okay.
take this, please, so that Ms. Rucker could move on with her day. All right. Thank you, Mr. Trejo, for coming back. We're gonna take Ms. Rucker's plea. Has that paperwork been completed? You're muted. I'm assuming you say you didn't have a chance to speak with her yet.
Exactly. I'd like to speak with Ms. Rucker first, and then we can wrap up that paperwork.
It seems like we can never get the wheels and the machine to move smoothly so that someone is free while someone else is working. All right, so if Mr. Trejo could please go into a breakout first with Ms. Rucker to explain the paperwork, get that process started. And then
Exactly.
he'll go into a breakout and speak with Ms. Marshall Story. Ms. Riley, it seems that you have a stroke of genius for where we could begin.
Well, Your Honor, I saw that there was a Samsung that joined us. I wasn't sure if that was Mr. Harper before.
I don't think so. That Samsung has been with us for some time. Samsung, but we can ask. Samsung A37, please identify yourself. Well,
Okay,
yeah,
maybe
he's
not.
been that phone has been there for a second. I'm not sure who that
Okay.
individual is. All right, short recess while we wait for Mr. Trejo.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Let's take Mr. Pittman's plea. Mr. Pittman has submitted the paperwork. There's one tiny scrivener's error, but we believe that we can resolve it here. Mr. Pittman, are you here? Can you tell me your name, please? Ms. Marcia Story?
Hello.
Ms. Marcia Story, are you here? Is this your case?
Yes, I am.
We can't hear you at all. You sound like you're down a hole.
Can you hear me now?
Much better, yes.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Pittman, in case 20 CR 0041110F, you're charged with criminal trespass and damage to property with the offense date of July the 5th of 2020. You have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have a right to an attorney today, but you're proceeding per se. Is that your wish?
Yes.
And if you're choosing to represent yourself, I expect you to understand the implication of taking a plea. Do you feel well informed such that you're ready to take this plea today? Mr. Pittman,
Yes, Your Honor.
do you wish to get counsel?
I feel comfortable enough.
All right, Ms. Marcia Story, if you will give us very briefly the factual basis as well as the state's offer.
Yes, Your Honor. Let me get back to Mr. Pittman's information. Your Honor, the offer in this case is on a plea of guilt to criminal trespass. The state is recommending 12 months probation, that the defendant complete a domestic violence intervention program and have no further violent contact with Brian Burns.
All right, what the facts had this case gone to trial, Ms. Marcia Story being alleged to show?
Just one moment, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay, Your Honor, I'm so sorry. I apologize for the delay. Had this case gone to trial, the state would have been prepared to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that on July 5th, 2020, in Fulton County, that the defendant, Alan Dwight Pittman, did intentionally damage the property of Brian Burns, and that damage thereto was $500 or less in violation of 16-7-21.
All right, thank you. Mr. Pittman, I'm going to place you under oath for the very limited purposes of taking this plea, and it will not interfere with your right to remain silent. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. Now, the facts as just listed by the state, do you have any objection to those? Do you agree that that's how the case occurred? Wait, this is going to be yes or no. If you have any, if it's a no, we cannot take this plea today. And by taking a guilty plea unrepresented, you're saying that you agree with the facts that's just presented by the state. Do you agree with those facts?
Yes.
All right. And do you agree that they have the proper defendant, that being you?
Yes.
And do you agree that this case took place in Fulton County?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time?
No, ma'am.
And you understood your right to counsel again, and you chose to proceed per se?
Yes.
And you understand the implications of taking a guilty plea today?
Yes.
And you understand, and did anyone promise you anything in exchange for taking a plea?
No.
Did anyone coerce you into taking one?
No.
And you understand that there'll be no further trials where you would have had the right to present any evidence or witnesses in your favor?
Yes.
And you're prepared to give up your right to have the state prove these charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes.
And you understand that, and you understand the requirements that you need to take that course and have no further violent contact with Mr. Burns?
Yes.
All right, as to the charge of criminal trespass and damage to property, Mr. Pittman, how do you plead?
Guilty.
All right, if there's nothing further from the state at this time, I believe Mr. Pittman will be free
There's
to
not.
go. All right.
Thank you. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Bolton, do we have all the documents that we need for Mr. Pittman before I release him?
Yes, sir, please then question on probation. I need him to complete one form. I'm gonna send them the probation consent form. I'm gonna email that to him now.
All right, does he need to remain on the line until he sends that back? Okay, Mr. Pittman, you're gonna get a form that will allow you to report to probation. Please complete that form in its entirety and follow the instructions for sending it back, okay?
Okay.
You're free to go. We don't want to see you here anymore. Take care.
You won't. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. All right, Mr. Trejo has not yet returned. Mr. Cuthbert's attorney has not yet reported. And did we ever figure out who was the gentleman or person at Samsung A0371 or?
Not yet, Your Honor, and a Mr. Luke Marks just joined.
All right, Ms. Gantz, your client is now present on the Zoom conference.
Yes, Your
You're requesting to pre-try this case with Ms. Gizviega, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Gizviega, are you present on the Zoom conference still? Will you
Yes, Your
please pre-try this case with Ms. Gant?
This is actually Miss Marshall Story's case.
Oh,
Your-
it's Ms. Marshall Story. Why do I have Ms. Gizviega? I apologize. Ms. Marshall Story, would you please pre-try this case with Ms. Gant at this
Yes.
time? All right, if Ms. Marshall Story and Ms. Gant could please be placed into the Zoom conference. Zoom breakout.
And Your Honor, Mr. Luke Marks is there.
Yes, that's Ms. Gant's client that we're
Okay.
trying to get on the line. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Your Honor.
I'm just putting it on, check it.
All right, Ms. Gant, you have an announcement?
Your Honor, if I may be placed in a breakout briefly with Mr. Marks, I would like to just discuss the offer with him.
All right,
briefly.
that's fine. If you would please place Ms. Gant and Luke Marks in a breakout, I would appreciate it. Thank you. And has Mr. Trejo returned?
He said he was filling out the paperwork and he's ready to send it over.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
And Samsung person, still don't know who that is. Yes, Mr. Cuthbert?
My lawyer, he just called me. He's getting ready to zoom in.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your patience.
All right, and I've just forwarded the plea paperwork from Ms. Rucker to the ASG Marshall Story and to the court. So I appreciate everybody's patience with that one.
All right, so we will begin with taking Ms. Rucker's plea. Any sign of Mr. Harper, Mr. Trejo?
Mr. Harper called me. He says that it keeps cutting in and out. He says he's tried to join. I'll continue to be in touch with him, Your Honor. If he's not able to join today, I mean, we would just ask to be set on the next plea calendar or have it specially set, and have him enter it in person.
All right, we'll see we'll see how this plays out. All right, let's do the case of Tashaka Rucker. In that case, 20 CR 003900F. Ms. Rucker was charged with 1 count of battery family violence and 1 count of simple battery family violence, each with the offense date of June the 25th of 2020. I received the non-cross of the simple battery family violence. So Ms. Rucker is here just on the battery family violence. Ms. Rucker, do you understand your rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm gonna place you under oath for the very limited purposes of taking a plea. Do you, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can put your hand down. All right, Ms. Marshall Story, please present the state's offer as well as very briefly, the limited factual basis.
Yes, Your Honor, had this case gone to trial, the state would have been prepared to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that on June 25th, 2020, defendant threw a Bluetooth device at Melissa Williams along with a drink. That this occurred in Fulton County. The offer in this matter, or the recommendation in this matter on a plea to battery family violence, is an anger management course which the defendant has already completed. I do have the certificate. No further violent contact with Melissa Williams. Your Honor, that will complete the case, and I have already sent a null process for the simple battery.
All right, Mr. Trejo, was that your understanding of the offer, and do you stipulate to the factual basis, ID, and venue?
We do, Your Honor. My client would like to enter a plea subject to first offender status, so that after 12 months it can be sealed.
All right, does the state have any objection to that? I'm inclined to grant it.
I do not.
All right. All right. Ms. Rucker, I'm gonna ask you some questions to make sure you're voluntarily taking the plea today. All right? And you're already under oath. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney's representation of you?
Yes, ma'am.
And did anyone promise you anything in exchange for taking the plea?
No, ma'am.
Did anyone force you to take a plea?
No, ma'am.
And you understand you'll have no further court dates regarding this particular charge, and you won't have the opportunity to present any defenses you may have had.
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand the requirements. You cannot have any further violent contact with the victim in this case.
Yes, ma'am.
As to the charge of battery family violence, Ms. Rucker, how do you plead?
Guilty.
I accept your guilty plea. I have Ms. Rucker's paperwork in hand. I don't believe there's anything further required. Mr. Trejo or Ms. Marshall Story?
Not from the state.
One quick question, Your Honor. Would she need to report while under first offender status or just not have any new, or not just reoffend within 12 months?
She's completed the course, so I believe that she can go now reporting.
Great. Thank you, Your Honor.
Unless the state had any objections to that.
That's correct, Your Honor. Now the state did not request probation.
Oh, true. Because
Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, the case is
that's the
over
end of the
with.
case. Yeah, that's the
Great.
end of it. All right, Ms.
Excellent.
Rucker, you're free to go.
Thank
Your Honor,
you.
May I have a quick breakout with Mr. Trejo? Do we have some other business that
Yes,
needs to be
We
taken
do.
away
We have
from
two
for a
quick
second?
You
ones.
all have several positions to cover, but one question, are you Miss, is it Miss Riley that has Mr. Cuthbert's case before I let you go? Okay, good. Finally, the cards are coming together. So if Miss Marshall's Story could be placed in a breakout, Mr. Trejo, I'm presuming you're gonna discuss positions 2 and 3 on the final plea.
Of course.
Wonderful. All right.
Am I good to go?
Yes,
I
Ms.
did.
Rucker, you're free
Okay.
to go. Take
All right.
care.
Thank
We don't
you.
want to see you anymore. All right. Take care.
All right. Have a good day.
All right. Thank you. All right. I see someone on the line named Mac. Sir, please identify yourself.
That's Attorney Thomas Stewart, Your Honor.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Stewart. We've been patiently awaiting your arrival
Yes,
for
ma'am.
Mr. Cuthbert's case. It's our we do have some paperwork, I believe, that he's gonna take a plea this morning. Is that still your announcement for this case?
Your Honor, I thought that we had already taken the plea and he was just given 30 days to complete the program.
That wasn't my understanding. Is that your understanding, Ms. Riley?
Your Honor, Mr. Stewart asked for a plea in absentia, which I sent the plea paperwork to Mr. Stewart, but I did not hear anything back.
And unfortunately, I didn't get it, but Mr. Cuthbert is there.
Right, so we can take his plea this morning if your client has been apprised of the has he seen these plea documents? Is he familiar? Do you need a moment to speak with him regarding the plea paperwork?
I don't have anything, Your Honor.
Oh,
That's
you
what I'm
don't
saying.
have the plea paperwork. The
Yes,
court has
ma'am.
the plea paperwork. Ms. Riley, would you be willing to forward it to counsel so that he can very quickly discuss it with his client to see if we're gonna take this plea today?
Yes, Your Honor, the email address that Mr. Stewart provided me is the same email address that Ms. Bolton was CC'd on. So, but I will certainly send it back to that same email address.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll be on a brief hold. Mr. Stewart, if you would please speak with your client as quickly as you can. What I'm gonna suggest, in fact, is that can Attorney Stewart be placed in the breakout with Mr. Cuthbert so that he can go ahead and discuss that paperwork? And Ms. Garrett, you're returning, do you have an announcement?
Yes, Your Honor. I have had a discussion with ASG Story Marshall. At this time, Your Honor, I would ask that the offer be placed on the record, and we are also requesting a reset to the next final plea calendar. I do believe we'll be able to resolve it by then.
Okay,
I
Ms.
mean,
Marshall's
resolve
Story
it.
is handling other business, and I don't want to delay your client. If you would like to read the offer, Ms. Gann, I understand it typically comes from the state, but Ms. Marshall's Story is not here. And I would prefer not to hold your client longer than we have to. So if you want to read the offer that you received really quickly, and then we'll reset that case to December 7th, final plea calendar.
Yes, Your Honor. 12 months probation, no early release from probation, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, must continue with prescribed medications and treatment plan.
All right. And is your client still here?
Yes, Your Honor, he is still on.
He
should be-
dropped off of the Zoom. I don't see him. He did appear and we did see them momentarily. So we will reset that case to December 7th calendar at 9 a.m. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Possession 7, Luke Marks. And we are still waiting on announcements on 2 and 3. And 11, we're gonna reset. That concludes the final plea calendar. We're gonna wait, we probably cannot take this plea on position 2 because Mr. Harper has not appeared. So we will, I'll think about that one.
And I'm going to call position 2 on the status calendar just to see one more time if he's able to log in. Otherwise, I think we that might conclude our business for right now.
All right, if we could please have the announcements though for positions 2 and 3.
Yes. Your Honor, on position 3, no, I'm sorry, on position 2, Ms. Marshall Story did give an amended offer today. She agreed that that if we could set this to the next final plea calendar, there is some homework that my client I think would be interested in taking care of prior to entering the plea. And I would just like some time, give her some time to get that done and also give us some time to communicate the new offer to her.
All right, so, and I did see your client, so we will reset that case to the December 7th final plea calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, position 3.
And position 3, this is actually with Ms. Gitiea. This is one where we are going to ask it to be set on the next available calendar. You know, my client, I can go into it with you, Your Honor, or I can just discuss with Ms. Gitiea if that's okay, whatever y'all prefer.
Your client did not appear, Mr. Trejo. Do you know why?
I don't know why. He called me and he's been texting me all morning. I told him to go ahead and join. I don't know what the holdup is in terms of getting him in the actual call.
All right, well, we'll reset it. I'll ask that you speak with Ms. Gitiea regarding this case after the calendar.
I appreciate that.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, position 3 on the final plea calendar?
Yes.
Mr. Fadrell, me and Mr. Trejo have already.
No, Ms. Riley, you and I had Mr. Harper together.
Okay.
All right, so we'll reset, position 3.
Great.
All right, and Mr. Harper, let's give him one last call, Mr. Trejo, and then if he can't get on, that includes the calendar for the day. It's Samsung A03, please identify yourself. I believe he was here and was asleep. There's not much I can do. All right.
All right.
I am assuming that the state is requesting FTAs for all those who did not appear. I will take that under consideration. The case of Mr. Hill, Ms. Marshall's story, he actually called with some indication as to why he is not appearing today. We're gonna reset him to an in-person calendar for him to appear.
Okay.
I'm not sure if the validity of his excuses, however, we will reset that case based upon him having made some contact with the court. I
No
want to
good
let you
deed
know-
goes unpunished.
I want to let you know he did call.
I'm glad he called.
He did call, so, there's that. All right. Once Mr. Trejo returns to us, I believe we'll be in a position to review the calendar. Position 11, Mr. Snyder was here earlier on the final plea calendar, Orca Steve final plea. He indicated that he was not prepared to take that final plea at this time. And then there was some indication that his attorney may have wanted a jury trial. I do not feel comfortable at this point resetting it for a jury trial or to a final plea because it sounds as if he's not prepared to take a plea. So we're gonna reset that particular position to the December 7th status, just to ascertain what is happening in that particular case. We're holding for, I believe we have announcements for all the other positions. And we'll let Ms. Bolton review once Mr. Trejo confirms that his client will not be joining us this morning. Okay, oh, that's right. We are waiting on that position. I got overly ambitious. You're correct. We're gonna wait and see if they're gonna take the plea today. They're on the Zoom, they're in a breakout. Mr. Cuthbert, thank you for reminding me that he was here. All right.
And Miss Gant is in a breakout also.
She is.
I'm sorry, I am not in the breakout.
Oh, she's not. Oh, okay. I didn't realize you were back. There may have been an announcement while I was out.
All right, is Mr. Trejo back? I saw him flash on for a moment. Oh, he's what, one moment, all right. Oh, Mr. Harper's in the waiting room. If he could be let into the Zoom conference.
He's been admitted, Your Honor.
All right, all right. Mr. Trejo, are we prepared to go forward and take this plea today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Harper, I need you to turn on your camera so we can identify you. Quickly, Mr. Harper, please.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We cannot see you. We must be able to see you.
Can you see me now?
No, we cannot see you. And unfortunately, if we can't identify you, we'll have to reset your case and you'll have to come in person so we can tell that it's actually you. All right, while Mr. Harper is working on that. Mr. Stewart, do you have an announcement?
Yes, Your Honor. Again, we want to go ahead and plead guilty. I've got the paperwork. I've gone over this with my client. And it's what was agreed to was it'll be disorderly conduct.
Oh, before you tell me, so are you able to submit that signed paperwork to the court so we can take his plea in a moment?
No,
do we
sir.
have-
I'm in one location and he's in another.
Right, but your client could sign and send to you, and then you could take a quick look at it, make sure it's fine, and then forward on to the court. That's what most of us have been doing.
I did not understand what we need, what it is you said that they've been doing.
I understand. Wait a second, Ms. Bolton, the paperwork we have here is already signed. We're gonna check.
Your Honor,
It's not.
Council has reported all the paperwork is not completed.
Okay, in order for us to take the plea today, Mrs. Stewart, your client has to actually sign it. He can sign it electronically on his phone or print it out and scan it to you. You need to take a look at it and then send it to us. Okay?
Can we do this? Can we just reset this for tomorrow or something so I can get this to him?
It wouldn't be tomorrow. We can reset it for December 7th, but we would, in order to avoid this, the best thing might be for you all to come in person at that time.
Your Honor, I apologize. One other thing that, if Mr. Cuthbert would give Attorney Stewart express permission to sign for him.
That's an option as well, but Mrs. Stewart, do you have a way to sign and submit to us?
I have the paperwork. I can sign it and sign his name, and I can sign my name as a witness. I'll have my paralegal notarize that.
Well, the question is, would you be able to do it before we, conclude the calendar today? Or would you be
Yes,
able
ma'am.
to-
I can sign all of this and
Okay, why don't you start on that now while we take this other plea, and hopefully by the time we finish that one, we'll be able to take your clients, okay?
Thank you.
We just have to have paperwork in hand in order to be able to do it.
I apologize for the interruption. Mr. Attorney Stewart, the notary was only if it was a plea in absentia. Since it is not a plea in absentia, we are taking the plea today.
Okay.
It does not have to be notarized.
All righty.
Okay.
All right, let's go back to Mr. Harper's case. All right, Mr. Harper, can we see you? Are you here? I'm just really. We have to remember that if we don't make Zoom work, we won't get to use it much longer, and we'll all be in court together. So let's find a way to make it happen. Mr. Harper, are you able to turn on your camera? Mr. Trejo, if you want to give him some tech support by phone. If not, we'll reset his case and we'll ask that Mr. Harper come in. Which is unfortunate because we do, I believe, have his document.
Sure, give me one moment.
Yes.
All right, I think we got it, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Harper, are you ready to take a plea today?
Yes.
All right. Andrew. All right. Give me one moment to get their paperwork. All right, Mr. Harper, in case 20 CR 005617F, you're charged with one count of theft by receiving stolen property, failure to obey traffic signs, signals, and markings, and driving without a license with the offense date of July the 28th of 2020. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to go ahead and place you under oath for the limited purposes of taking the plea. Please raise your right hand. Do you raise your right hand?
And we just lost him.
There he is. He's back.
Mr. Harper?
Hello?
We need to see you, Mr. Harper.
Okay, I'm trying to get back in. Can you see me?
We cannot.
Harper, you just need to turn the camera on.
My camera's on, just going, keep going in and out.
Yeah.
I just need to see him to place him under oath.
Mr. Harper, do you see a prompt asking you to start your camera?
No, it's not doing. I'm trying to start. What? I said Zoom is off.
Can I go into a breakout, Mr. Trejo, really quickly?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, would I need to also be in the breakout?
No, I just don't, this is not about this.
Okay.
It's a technical question.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Mr. Harper. We just can't see you.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, Mr. Trejo
You see me
certified
now?
that he could see
Hello?
Mr. Trejo certified that he could see his client. We did see his client, so we're gonna go forward with taking the plea today. Ms. Bolton, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't know why.
We're just going to move forward, Mr. Harper.
Mr. Trejo, I don't think we're gonna take this plea at this time. There's too many issues technically. Are we able, Mr. Harper, are you able to turn on your camera again so we can see you? We're gonna reset his case.
Okay, Your Honor, we appreciate that.
Mr. Harper will be reset to December the 7th.
Okay.
I did, even though Mr. Trejo certified to me that he saw him earlier and that was him, we're just not gonna take this plea. So Mr. Harper, you need to come in person to the December 7th calendar, all right? Please let him know that, Mr. Trejo.
I will, Your Honor. Thank you. I appreciate your patience.
All right. Are we ready to take Mr. Cuthbert's?
This is Thomas Stewart. I sent the paperwork back to the solicitor.
Let's see if we've got it.
He did not include Ms. Bolton, so I will send it to her now.
All right, thank you, Ms. Riley.
You're welcome.
Did she get my paperwork, Your Honor?
I believe it's coming.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Harper, you're free to go. You need to come back on the 7th. All right?
Hello?
Mr. Harper, you're free to go. Your case has been reset.
Okay, thank
Mr. Trejo, make sure your client knows he needs to come in and do that, please.
I will, Your Honor. Thank you.
Huh? You're not, let me.
Okay, no, counsel, Attorney Stewart.
He's muted. He's coming.
Okay.
He can.
Yes, ma'am.
Or Ms. Riley, did you both receive the plea and verdict form? Is that completed also?
There were 2 documents attached and
I've got three attachments.
So I have,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, counsel. I have defendant's plea statement, and then I have the accusation that you signed with express permission. So I have 2 copies. I don't have the plea and verdict.
I have discussed this with my client. That's 1. The express permission and the police statement. Is there something else I need?
there are 2 PDF documents attached to 2 separate plea documents that are attached in the email that was sent to you, Mr. Stewart. One document has 3 pages, the other is 1 page.
Aha. Okay, let me go see if I can find that. I'm 71 years old, so y'all just got to bear with me.
Understood. It's in the email.
Thank you, AMG Riley.
You're welcome.
Okay, the verdict. Okay, I see it. Do I need to print that and sign that too?
Yes.
Cynthia? Okay, there's a court date set for October. Do I need to line through October?
Yes. It should be today's date, November
Okay.
2nd.
Do I need to sign my name where it says defendant or sign his name?
It's your name with express permission.
Okay. Okay, and I am sending that right now. I sent it.
And I've got it, so let's do it. All right, Mr. Cuthbert, in case 20 CR 004023F, you're charged with disorderly conduct with the offense date of October the 30th of 2018. Do you understand your rights today, Mr. Cuthbert? Oh, Mr. Cuthbert, please say you're here and not ready to say you understand your rights. Has his phone frozen? Did he put his phone down?
It looks like it's frozen and he's on mute.
There's so, I just
can't get right today.
I just can't. I have tried. Mr. Cuthbert, please. Mr. Stewart, can you call your client?
I'm gonna give him a call. I'm gonna give him a call, Your Honor.
There he is.
There we are. Mr. Cuthbert, please sit down. Please hold the phone in one place so that we do not lose you, okay? Unmute. Do you understand your rights today?
You're on mute.
You're on mute. Don't worry. We're not at that part yet. Do you understand your rights? And unmute. Unmute, please.
Unmute. Go to the
Press,
bottom
thank
left.
you. Yes. Do you understand
I'm
your
sorry.
right?
Yes, man. I had to use the restroom right quick. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm
thank
sorry.
you.
Too
Thank
much
you for that
information. Let's go.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's not say anything extra. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm gonna place you under oath now. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear in affirm the testimony you give today for the limited purposes of taking this plea will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. You can put your hand down.
Yes.
Ms. Riley, please give me the state's recommendation for the plea and as well, very briefly, the factual basis supporting it.
Yes, Your Honor. The state expects the evidence to show that on October 30th, 2018, officer was in the area of 5630 Fulton Industrial Boulevard, a gas station in Fulton County. He encountered Mr. Cuthbert and his stepson that had been in a verbal dispute. They both had been consuming alcohol, and there was or I guess multiple blows had been taken against each other. The reference for the disorderly conduct, being reduced to disorderly conduct, is Mr. Cuthbert's stepson, Mr. Everett, does not wish to pursue a simple battery charge against his stepfather, and that they have resolved the issue personally between the family members. The state's recommendation in this case is 12 months probation, a $200 fine, 3 anger management classes, a drug and alcohol evaluation, and any treatment that is recommended, and probation can become non-reporting upon completion of conditions.
All right, thank you, Ms. Riley.
You're welcome.
Stuart, was that your understanding of the offer, and do you stipulate to factual basis, ID, and venue in this case?
Yes, ma'am, and we stipulate.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Cuthbert, I'm gonna ask you some questions, please. I've already placed you under oath. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney's representation?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that by taking a plea today, you're giving up your right to challenge these charges against you in a court of law?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're waiving your right to any further court dates?
Yes, ma'am.
Did anyone promise you anything in exchange for taking the plea?
No, they did.
Did they promise you a lesser sentence in exchange for taking a plea?
Did not.
And you understand the requirements, including the fine, the classes, and the evaluation that you'll have to undergo?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, as to the charge of disorderly conduct, Mr. Cuthbert, how do you plead?
Guilty.
I accept your guilty plea at this time. I believe we have all the paperwork, so both you and your client are free to go, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Oh, Ms. Bolton is, no, we're not free to go. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Stewart, I will be emailing you a probation contact form. You just fill that out for me. You don't have to put the social, just complete everything else. The judge and the case number and all the other information. If you need any information regarding the bottom portion of it, you can just email me back.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Are we free to leave, Your Honor?
All right, I think you're free to go at this time. All right, I believe that concludes the calendar. Is there any further cases on? Are we ready to review it?
I'll give you a call, Mr. Cuthbert.
Yes, sir.
All right, we're ready to review the calendar then. Thank you. Ms. Riley? Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Did you forward the plea and verdict form? Yeah. For that last case?
He was supposed to be sending that back. I have not received another email from Mr.
Okay.
Stewart.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna start with Orca A status. Orca A, position 1, reset motion 12:16 at 11:30. Position 2, reset 12:07 for status. Orca C status conference. Position 1, reset 12:07 status. Position 2, reset 12:07 plea in person. Position 3, reset 12:07 final reset. Position 4, reset 12:07 status. Position 5, reset 12:07 status. Orca C final plea calendar. Position 1 was a plea. Position 2, reset 12:07 for final plea. Position 3, reset 12:07 for status. Position 4, we're gonna reset that for 12:07 in person. Position 5, reset or further notice is a jury trial demand. Position 6 was a jury trial demand. Reset further notice on position 6 also. Position 7, reset 12:07 final plea. Position 8 was a plea. Position 9, reset 12:07 final plea. Position 10 was a plea. Position 12, reset 12:07 status. Position 12 was a no cost. Position 13, reset motion 12:16 at 11:30 a.m. Position 14 was a reset 12:07 for status. Position 15 was a plea. Any errors or corrections or comments, concerns?
All right, hearing none, will be in recess into the next calendar. Everyone, thank you for your patience today with our various technical issues. Any other outstanding questions or comments? All right, take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.